those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigue of supporting it. Thomas Paine.
Next up is Ann, Josh, Daniel, and Caleb. Ann lives in Evansville, Indiana. She's a Christian, a wife, and a homeschooling mother of 5 boys. Ann.
A thought came to me recently when my son was memorizing the Gettysburg Address. Abraham Lincoln gave that speech during the Civil War to honor the men who died with hopes that their death would not be in vain. It begins like this: 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. For a number of years now, our nation has been in another civil war, which will test whether this nation will endure. This civil war is not between the North and the South, but between people with different ideals and beliefs. One of the foundational differences that has caused this civil war of values boils down to whether we believe that we were created in the image of God, or that we are products of evolution from an ape or some other lower life form, which is being taught to our children in the public schools.
That would be a politician.
If we are created in the image of God, then there is value in every human life, both in and out of the womb, both healthy and feeble, both young and old. And if we believe that He created all beings and all things, and that He is the ruler of all, then we can believe that His truth in the Bible is reliable for us to follow.
Yes!
You see, if we don't believe that all things can be measured against the truth of His Bible, then we have no standard for what is right or what is wrong, and everything is acceptable.
That's progressive.
Irresponsibility, immorality.
A quote by Ronald Reagan: "Without God, there is no virtue, because there is no prompting of the conscience. Without God, there is a coarsening of the society. Without God, democracy will not and cannot long endure. If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under." Ronald Reagan, 1994.
These words were spoken by Thomas Jefferson from the Declaration of Independence and inscribed in the Jefferson Monument. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. God, who gave us life, gave us liberty. Can the liberties of a nation be secure when we have removed conviction that these liberties are the gift of God, that they are not to be violated but with His wrath? Indeed, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that His justice cannot sleep forever.
Right.
And now for the final words of the Gettysburg Address.
For from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these honored dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth,